Another one that's also developing this hour. We need to take you there. It's also a court case in which judgment has been reserved as well. But this is the Ace Magashule corruption case in the Free State. Magashule and 3 other accused want their corruption charges to be dropped. Their litigation case continued in the Bloemfontein High Court earlier today. The accused argue that the state should provide them with a list of witnesses. Senior reporter Spamandle Koke following those proceedings for us, joining us now live from Bloemfontein, Koma Ngaung. Good afternoon, Spamandle. What was the gist of the arguments in court today?
Well, Ace Magashule and his legal team, they are the ones who are arguing in court today. Basically, the gist of the argument centered around them saying these charges are politically motivated. They want these charges withdrawn. But going further, calling for more information and a list of witnesses implicating Ace Magashule. Of course, Ace Magashule in this application joined other 3 accused persons. In total, there are 4 people who had applied. They want these charges to be thrown out. They want to be provided with a list of witnesses implicating them in these fraud and corruption charges here at the Free State High Court in Bloemfontein. They date back to 2014-2015 financial year, whereby it is alleged that an amount of 255 million rand was paid to certain businesses for the project of removing asbestos roofings here in the Free State, something that didn't happen according to the state. They allege that, well, only 21 million rand of that money was paid to a company that had the skills and capacity to undertake the project, but the rest of the money was allegedly shared amongst people, and there were allegations of kickbacks and bribes that were paid to certain people. But in court today, the argument was a civil litigation. It focused on the civil litigation matter, whereby these 4 accused people, they want these charges thrown out. They are arguing that the nature of the charges itself is questionable, and the manner in which they were charged, whereby they were not given an opportunity to respond and to explain before, they were only notified later. That is what they are saying in court, that they are charged with fraud and corruption. But when they were arrested, they are saying their rights were violated. So today, Ace Magashule argued that there is nothing linking him to this case, and therefore he would want the charges to be dropped. But of course, Judge Somanaido had to reserve judgment today. But let's take a listen to what Ace Magashule's legal representative said when he was arguing on behalf of his client.
We say, my lady, that must is directive. It tells you as a fact that you have to do it. It compels you to do it. If you look at the dictionary definition of must, it says compelled to or forced to. So you're forced to, firstly, have written authorization, and that can only be given after, it says, and only after the person concerned has been afforded a reasonable opportunity by the investigating or prosecuting authority, as the case may be, to explain whether personally or through or a legal representative he or she failed to report in terms of section 34.2. So we say that they're totally out, my lady. There is no possible explanation, and the advocate Somri was not entitled in law to authorize in writing the prosecution without the applicant having been afforded a reasonable opportunity to explain.
Well, Spamandle, I understand the state is also calling this a hopeless application. I mean, they are obviously opposed from yesterday when you spoke to Vuyomaga of the NPA. Why?
They say this is a waste of time. There is no merit to this application. There is nothing that the state has done wrong. They say they have played open cards with the accused persons in this matter. They furnish them with everything that they need to prepare for the case. They go back to say in February last year, the magistrate court, they did supply the accused persons with the indictment, which contains all the information that they need, and the charge sheet is there. So they say they don't understand what else can they possibly do to make sure that the accused persons in this matter are satisfied, because they say all that they've done has been to give them everything that they have wanted, and this application is hopeless because according to the state and the prosecution, there are no prospects of success. Let's listen to the senior counsel representing the prosecution arguing.
My lady, it is this application that I can with conviction say to your ladyship you should dismiss it with 3 counts first because of the conduct in an attack on dignitas of people when it's unnecessary. If they want to report them to wherever they want to, they're free to do so, but not in this application, not to get political mileage in this application. Finally, my lady, I have made the point, my lady, in my practice note and in our heads of argument, my lady. If your ladyship will go to paragraph 17 of my practice note, where I say first, the SCA held that findings of political interference are irrelevant to the decision to prosecute, stating that a prosecution is not wrongful because it is brought for an improper purpose, but that it will only be wrongful if, in additional, reasonable and probable grounds for prosecution are absent. The motive behind the prosecution being irrelevant. And of course, my lady, one of our finest judges, Shining here, put in the following: the best motive does not cure an otherwise illegal arrest, and the worst motive does not render an otherwise legal arrest illegal. Of course, that also applies to prosecutions.
And what's Magashule saying on the last day of the proceedings? I mean, the civil matter started yesterday. Today, I guess he was the last one in the argument, while, of course, we await the outcome ahead of the 10th of June.
Well, he still maintains that he is innocent. Of course, he has not pleaded in a court of law, but in the public court, he has pleaded not guilty, saying, I'm not corrupt, I never received any money. He continues to question the nature of the charges. He says, give me clear charges, what am I charged with? That is his call to the state. Let's take a listen.
We have not just assisted certain students, even students who qualified, the top 100 who did not have bursaries. I will talk to other business people, black and white, to assist those students. So this is what we have been doing, and I'm looking forward to somebody saying, yes, I've received R1 million, yeah, done this. And, people have received money, are never charged, and they agree, and they say it, they admit at the Zondo Commission, I've received money. I've received money from the cook, I've received money from this friend, I've received money. Maybe it was genuine, they received, they were given, friends. I have not entered in that space. So I have not received any money. So where is corruption?
Okay, Spamand, just to end off, I mean, so what should we expect next, really, in this particular civil case? Because we know yesterday the judge postponed to the 10th of June the criminal pre-trial proceedings in the criminal trial, so to speak. And we do have, as you explained yesterday, we do have 6 other people who are individuals not involved in the civil application. So what should we expect next?
In a couple of weeks' time, we expect that Judge Somanaidio will be able to deliver her judgment. Now, that will pave a way for the criminal pre-trial proceedings to resume on the 10th of June this year. So the other accused that are not part of this application will have to come back in court on the 10th of June. And by then, we hope that a judgment would have been handed down by this court regarding this civil matter involving 4 applicants. They include Ace Magashule, of course, as well as Thabani Zulu, former head of the Department of Human Settlements, as well as businessman Edwin Sodi. So we expect that in a couple of weeks' time from now, that judgment will be handed down and will be able to proceed then with the initial pre-trial proceedings on the 10th of June.
Thank you very much. That's Pamandla Goke on the ground in Bloemfontein in the Free State. Now,